Okay folks, the YouTube video you're currently watching is not intended for children. I'll be discussing a rated R film called Pi, and as we know, rated R films are not intended for children's eyes. Now, the movie Pi is about a brilliant mathematician named Maximilian, who studies numbers and he believes he found the code. He believes he can crack the code of the stock market and ends up going crazy by the end of the movie. Now, this video you're watching now is a good companion to my previous one. As I talked about pi in that one, I talked about how pi connects with the number 218. And just for fun, go to Google and type in Pi Trivia 218, or maybe Pi Movie Trivia 218. And that's where I originally found out that the 216-digit number, which Max handwrites on paper, is different from the 218-digit number on his screen. If you get a hold of that DVD, skip to not quite the hour mark. I have 54:19 here. Some DVD players might shave a second or add a second, but go to around that mark and you can see Max is staring at his computer screen. And he's feverishly jotting down numbers. He thinks he's copying down what he sees on Euclid. Euclid is what he named his computer. Anyway, he's writing these numbers down as he's staring at the screen. And then he's about to faint. He, in a sense, finds pi. Not exactly. You have to see the movie to see what I'm talking about. Now, the string of digits that he wrote was on this Lancet Percy advertisement. And I think it's significant. You see it says 86% accuracy. Only God is perfect. It made me think of 8/6, August 6th, the 218th day of the year. And remember, his computer, Euclid, displayed 218 digits. Now, there was a discrepancy. Everybody's talking about the number 216 in the movie, and it's a very significant number for sure. But it seems that the digits that Euclid displayed was actually two more than that. Are the two more 8 and 6? I'm not sure. I'll leave the screenshot on my screen here if you want to see it. So this is the number that Euclid displayed. And I've just left the timestamp in case you have the DVD and you want to locate it. That's 218 digits. I found it was also worth noting that this headline, sums to 218, English ordinal gematria, you see it says the New York Post newspaper. It says, market takes a nosedive. Well, if you use English ordinal gematria, market takes a nosedive equals 218. Remember, Euclid displayed 218 digits. And this newspaper shows up in the movie and in the trailer. It's significant because Euclid crashes, or the motherboard crashes, I guess. And Max, the main character, Maximilian, he sees that Euclid had some picks, some stock market picks that were probably inaccurate, way too low. So after it crashes, some time later he's on the subway or the train or whatever, and he sees the man across from him reading this newspaper. He sees the headline and goes and grabs the newspaper. Market takes a nosedive. Turns out that Euclid's picks, at least a couple of his picks, were on the nose. And you have to excuse the pun. That was a direct quote from the movie.
Turns out they were correct. I got 2 picks on the nose. Smack on the nose, Saul.
On the nose. Anyway, like I said, when he realized that a computer wasn't just glitching, but that it was accurate, was when he was on the train. He sees the newspaper. Market takes a nosedive. And using English ordinal gematria, that headline, market takes a nosedive, equals 218. And you can verify that at a website called gematrinator.com. Type in letters, words, whatever. See what they sum to. Select different ciphers and whatnot. English ordinal is the most simple one to understand. But speaking of gematria, this movie talks about gematria briefly. You know, they don't mention the word gematria at this point where he meets this study of the Kabbalah, this student of Kabbalah, Lenny Meyer, or Myers. If you skip to the 1440 minute mark, significant time right there, 1440. It's 1440 minutes per day, reminding us of time. The word time, T-I-M-E, equals 144. And that's with the Jewish gematria cipher. Now, I don't mean Hebrew. I mean Jewish. There's a difference. On gematrinator.com, there's a cipher called Jewish gematria. And yeah, at the 1440 minute mark of that movie, they actually started talking about gematria, and watch for a minute or so later. He talks about a few Hebrew words that sum to certain things in gematria, but he actually talks about 144. 144 is a time number. Like I said, time equals 144. The increments of time in a day sum to 144. Talked about this a lot. 60 minutes per hour, 60 seconds per minute, and 24 hours per day. Add those together. 60 seconds plus 60 minutes plus 24 hours. 60 plus 60 plus 24. 144. And I found it kind of funny. When I typed into Google Pi movie, this is one of the first things that came up. It shows the rating, the R rating. Again, children should not be watching rated R movies. That movie is not intended for children. This video is not intended for children. But anyway, type in Pi movie into Google, and one of the first things you'll see is this trailer. And supposedly it's 144 in length. Now, I have the DVD, and the trailer is not quite that long. I don't know if there's some number fudgery happening. But either way, 144 is a very significant number for many reasons. You know about 144 in pi, right? Add up the first 144 digits after the decimal point in pi. And that sums to 666. Once again, add up the first 144 digits starting from the decimal point. Add 144 digits, the sum 666. We talked about this a lot, that after the infamous verse about 666 from Revelation, directly after that verse, there's a verse about the 144,000. Talked about this before, using the reverse full reduction EP cipher. The words 603 equals 218. Euclid displayed 218 digits before Max passes out. But he was writing a bunch of digits. He left a couple out. He only wrote 216, which was very significant. They talk about 216 throughout this movie. We know that 216 is 6 times 6 times 6. Some of us know that if we do 144 divided by 666, the answer is 0.216216, on and on and on. 216. 6 times 6 times 6, 216. Max writes down 216 digits. It might be worth noting that 216, if you flip it upside down, think of a digital clock with the block-like numbers 216. Upside down, it's 912. And it just so happens that Genesis 9:12, this is chapter 9, verse 12, is the 218th verse of the Bible. I counted. A lot of these special numbers have relationships with each other. Anyway, so I'm not going to go on about this. I do want to do an actual review of this movie. I'm going to decode it a bit more. I tried doing a video on this before, but there was copyright issues, let's say. Hopefully the still shots and a very, very short clip won't give me any trouble. Anyway, so we've been talking about the movie Pi.